This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5 o'clock, a neighborhood on edge this morning as Metro Police are looking for an arsonist. The new information we're learning about two fires set just a block apart earlier this week.
Also this morning, the 4th of July celebrations will continue into the weekend. The big plea from police departments across our state not to call 911 to report those many firework violations.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Friday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Rafael Sanchez. It is sitting in for Lauren Casey. It is Friday. It is also payday at RTV6. So, hey.
Yeah.
All right, TGIF.
Holiday, the payday.
You forgot, didn't you?
I knew, but I just...
That means Meredith's taking us out on the town
That's
tonight.
right.
Yeah.
She's buying breakfast.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're going to need gallons upon gallons of coffee and Coke, which is Todd's beverage of choice. Yeah. They were lighting those fireworks off when I was getting ready for work this morning.
They were still going in my neighborhood as well this morning.
Oh, my goodness.
So
I slept.
Everybody's celebrating.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you can carry the rest of the show. We're going to go lay down in the green room on the couch.
So, yeah, temperatures today are going to be back up near 90 degrees here across central Indiana. And here's a live look outside right now as you look past Victory Field, where they will have fireworks of their own later on this evening after they take on the Toledo Mudhead. Should be a nice night for baseball and anything else across central Indiana. 73 in Indianapolis, 72 in Bloomington, 74 is the current temperature in Tipton. Look at Muncie. You're at 77 degrees still at this hour. Radar is pretty quiet across most of central Indiana, but let me get out of the way. I was hiding this one downpour that we have, and that's near Terre Haute. A little bit of lightning there as well. US 150 as it crosses I-70 there. Some very heavy rainfall. This storm should slide up towards the north, but additional storms will build in as the day goes on. Yesterday, we just had a few hit or miss ones, thankfully, for the 4th of July. Today, they should be a little more numerous across the area as we get into the afternoon and evening with high temperatures that once again will approach the 90-degree mark. The time now is 5:02. Let's get an update on the roads.
All right, Todd, thank you. We are taking a live look right now at I-465 at Ditch Road. You can see a lot of traffic out there here at the 5 o'clock hour. No issues to report at this moment, but we will let you know if that changes. The search continues for whoever started fires at two homes in downtown Indianapolis.
The fires lit up the sky earlier this week, Meredith, on Tuesday, and now those in that neighborhood, as you can imagine, they're taking action.
Our Aaron Lish is live with what neighbors are saying about these investigations. Aaron, obviously people are concerned about this.
Absolutely. Those neighbors are shaken up after those fires happen, just in mere blocks of each other, yet alone in that same night. So IFD spokespeople are telling us that these fires, they weren't by accident. They were set intentionally. We were actually on scene as fire crews were working to put out the flames at that home on Pennsylvania. They say that same night they had the same porch fire on Talbot. So neighbors like Eric Patterson say they're moving porch furniture to the back of homes, some things like couches and cushions, because rumors on social media say that these are the ways that these fires were getting started. He adds that they want more people, of course, to move to the neighborhood, but something like this doesn't really help.
To have things like this happen, it just feels a little scary to residents down here. But I think most people around here are pretty resilient. They understand what it means to live downtown, and I don't think one event like this is going to dissuade people from living down here.
One person was taken into custody and questioned by investigators the night of the fires, but they were actually released. Thankfully, no one was hurt. IFD is saying to make sure that you do have working smoke alarms in your home and always have an evacuation plan just in case. We're going to have a little bit more from neighbors in the next half hour, but for now, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Aaron, thank you. Indianapolis is changing how it handles complaints about animals in trouble after a dog died chained up in its own backyard on the west side. A warning, some of these images we are about to show you may be difficult to look at. Jim Honeycutt called animal control 2 days last week after he noticed a neighbor's dogs tethered and tangled outside in the heat. About 90 minutes after calling on the second day, Jim saw one of the dogs flash on the ground and not moving. He messaged the dog's owner to come home and then called the Mayor's Action Center. By the time Animal Care Services responded 16 hours later, Flash was dead.
I was pretty angered that day. I was trying to, be as nice as I could. I was mowing the grass when the homeowner came by, and I gave him a few choice words. And so, I mean, I try to keep the, the peace. We got to live next door to them, but I think they know how I feel about this issue.
Call 6 Investigates took this case to the head of Animal Care Services. Katie Trennan-Pohl says Jim's first call to the city was characterized as a standard animal neglect run. When Jim called the city to say Flash wasn't moving, the Mayor's Action Center emailed an IACS supervisor to escalate the complaint rather than calling.
At the time that she got that email and updated the run status or priority to a higher priority, unfortunately the dog had already passed away. So we have had conversations with the Mayor's Action Center on how we can address that issue in a more timely manner.
The Mayor's Action Center released this statement regarding the case, quote, at the time of this case creation, email escalation was the correct protocol agreed upon by ACS. We are currently working with ACS to open other communication processes for these situations in the future.
The time now is 5:06. This is a weekend of celebration. So here's a reminder this morning. If your neighbors are not obeying those firework ordinances, please do not call 911. Like many dispatch centers across the country, the center in Johnson County is overwhelmed with non-emergency calls this time of year. If lines are busy with firework complaints, it takes time away from true emergencies. And in those situations, minutes, as you know, can be the difference between life and death.
You could be tying up a line for somebody else that is been in an accident, or their house is on fire, or a child's drowning in a pool. So we ask that you save the 911 lines for those type of calls, and you can just call our non-emergency line.
Yeah, non-emergency lines vary by location. In Johnson County, that number is 317-346-6336. And in Marion County, you can call 311. And as we continue to celebrate this 4th of July weekend, another reminder to think about those who served our country. Some veterans suffer from PTSD, and they say that fireworks can trigger that PTSD. So it is important to follow your local ordinances when it comes to setting off those fireworks, and check with your neighbors to make sure that they're okay with your display.
A visit to a cell phone store turned terrifying for 2 workers and a customer after robbers held them at gunpoint. Now police are asking for your help identifying the suspects. These are surveillance pictures from the T-Mobile store on North Town Center Road in Mooresville, where the robbery happened Wednesday afternoon. Investigators say 2 suspects forced the employees and a customer into a back room where they cleaned out a safe and cash registers. The robbers were then seen leaving in a silver 4-door car with temporary paper plates driven by a woman. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS.
In more local news, Metro Police looking for suspects after a drive-by shooting on the east side of Indianapolis. Police say the victim was shot several times at 13th and Oxford Streets around 7:30 last night. They were taken to Eskenazi Hospital.
The sky above Indianapolis was filled with fireworks last night as people gathered for the annual Freedom Fest downtown. Thousands lined the streets and rooftops for a completion of a day-long celebration, or a compilation of fireworks. Sure. Despite the chance of rain yesterday, it turned out to be the perfect night, Raphael. I was sleeping though.
No, hey, it's all good. Take a look at that. Downtown Indianapolis, always beautiful, whether it's a completion or a compilation of colors. So here's something a lot of us don't think about during fireworks shows. But I mean, this was a good story. How do they make the colorful ones, right? Yeah. All those beautiful colors. It's all about proportions of different chemicals and how hot they burn. And it turns out, get this, that blue is really hard to do well. Experts say it's partly because the night sky is blue. Who knew? You can risk it looking too pale or too blown out against that dark background. So blue is also hard because of the chemical mix. Experts say it takes several chemicals plus copper. When copper lights on fire, the atoms look blue to us. Look at that. So Paul Smith from Purdue University, who's way smarter than all of us, explained all of this in an article this week. I imagine that today we'll be seeing a lot of yellow in the form of hopefully sunlight.
Yes.
As we enjoy another summer day here in central Indiana.
Yeah,
Todd,
we will, Rafi. We will. We'll have lots of sunshine in the forecast here throughout the day today. Very similar to yesterday. The one difference is the storms today probably going to be a little more numerous across the area, but they're still going to be very, very spotty. Yesterday was just a stray storm here or there. Today we'll probably build in a few additional ones. Temperatures this morning in the 70s across the area. We'll be warming up into the 80s by the time we get to 11 a.m. And as far as the rain goes, we already do have this one very slow-moving storm bringing some very heavy rainfall and a little bit of lightning to Terre Haute. This is just going to slowly drift off towards the north and to the northeast and then back off to the west. You notice these clusters of storms. That's kind of what we get into during the day tomorrow when the actual front slides through the area. So today, once again, all our storms will be the pop-up variety across the area with high temperatures that'll be climbing into the mid to upper 80s. Some of you will climb into the 90s today. When you factor in the humidity, which is elevated once again, everybody will feel like they're in the 90s. We'll talk more about the storm chances for later on this afternoon, coming up in Maine weather here in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. It has been more than 6 years since a home explosion rocked the Richmond Hill neighborhood. This morning, we are remembering one of those survivors who recently passed away. It's 5:11. We'll be right back.
Weekdays at 9 on RTV6.
This morning, a tribute to one of the survivors of the 2012 fatal South Side explosion in the Richmond Hill neighborhood. After covering this story for 7 years now, you get to know the people and their stories following the convictions and the recovery in that South Side Indianapolis neighborhood. Yesterday, one homeowner, a patriarch with a special knack with Legos, passed away as his community today remembers him.
Dale Bear had a knack for turning Lego pieces into masterpieces. After becoming ill, he turned to the squares and rectangles and circles to maintain the mobility in his hands. It helped while he snapped together Buckingham Palace and its 3x7 skyline. It kept him focused while the White House and the Capitol building went up. He was driven to complete this Porsche, which came with 500 pages of instructions and 1,580 pieces. In 2012, Dale was among the survivors of the Richmond Hill explosion. Though his home is across the street, he'll tell you he slept through the blast. Once he woke up, his priority was his wife and family that lived nearby and getting them to safety. Dale was big on family. Like the Ferris wheel he built with 2,463 parts, he embraced life's ups and downs. The ups, his wife of nearly 46 years, his 2 daughters, and his 4 grandchildren. The man who mastered assembling blocks of all colors and sizes to keep sharp and healthy was at the center of his own magic kingdom. All enjoyed his multiple layouts of Legos, and no one doubted his loyalty and his love.
Dale Bear would have celebrated his 65th birthday this July the 18th. His funeral arrangements are still pending.
Beautiful story there, Raphael. Thank you. Today's jobs report could have major implications for the economy. It's expected to show the economy added 160,000 jobs in June. The unemployment rate should stay about the same. Wages should be up slightly. And here's why all of this matters. The Fed could use today's report to decide whether to cut the federal interest rate. When you think of the 4th of July, you likely think of enjoying the pool or the lake, but for some people out in Utah, they actually got a chance to hit the slopes. There is still enough snow out in Snowbird, Utah for some people to enjoy skiing on the 4th of July.
What was that?
They had to wear their 4th of July bathing suit. People ditched their normal ski gear for shorts and t-shirts out there. It was about 44 degrees at the top of the mountain, but people say it felt much warmer than that. Yesterday marked the 191st day of Snowbird's season, the 3rd longest on record, with 711 inches of snow. Just incredible.
Listen,
there she is again.
Where is the Good Morning Indiana sensor? I mean, what is that? You can't.
It's a bathing suit.
Okay.
She had to, you know what? She probably bought that bathing suit for the 4th of July, Raphael.
I'm not judging.
there
Not
she is
judging.
again.
Not judging.
Now they're just teasing you, I think.
I liked
All right.
it.
Yeah. We know you did. All right.
America.
God bless it. All right. Let's talk about that forecast, Todd.
All right, if you go back to 2012, we're going to do a little history here. We were in the middle of that big-time heat wave. We got up to 103 degrees. That was after the 4th of July cracked the 100-degree mark as well. Today, we're looking at temperatures that will be in the 90s, so we're not going to climb up into the 100-degree territory and get close to that record, but still going to be a very warm and muggy day here the day after the 4th of July. 73 degrees right now. That's the current temperature. That dew point's at 70, so that's still elevated. There's still some humidity around, and that dew point's going to stay in the 70s throughout the entire day today. So it's warm, it's muggy, and with the heat and humidity, once again, will come the chance of some isolated thunderstorms across the area. 74 in Tipton, Bloomington 72 degrees. Richmond also sitting at 72 at this current hour. Most of central Indiana is dry, but where it is raining, it is coming down quite heavy, and that's in the Terre Haute and the Vigo County area. Look at this real heavy rain that is now just crossing over US 150, and it's raining on I-70 as well as you work your way into the Terre Haute area. A little bit of lightning there as well. That storm is not severe, but it's moving very, very slow, and that will be the case with these additional storms that flare up throughout the afternoon hours. They're not going to be very fast movers, so the biggest impact would be some localized flooding in your neighborhoods if you do see one or two of these storms that make their way into your area throughout the day today. So all our storms today are the pop-up variety. That's why they're going to be moving so slow. There's nothing really to push them off on their way like a cold front or anything like that. But eventually the front will come through tomorrow, and that is going to bring better rain chances to the forecast, unfortunately, as we head into your Saturday. So lots of sunshine here this morning. Temperatures quickly warming into the low 80s by 11 a.m. We're into the mid to upper 80s by 2 p.m. And then we'll see high temperatures this afternoon. Again, get up to right around 90 degrees with the heat, the humidity, and the storm chance. So let's go over to TrueCast for you, and we'll take a look at these storm chances. Again, anything this morning is completely dry with the exception of that one little downpour that we have out there right now over near Terre Haute. But look how things start to blossom throughout the afternoon hours. Yesterday, it was just a stray shower or two. You notice the coverage a little bit better here as we work our way into the afternoon hours. If you do have plans this Friday evening, not everybody's going to see this rain, so don't cancel them, but just know that there will be the potential of a few of these downpours as well as a little bit of lightning mixed in. For the day tomorrow, the showers and storms, they're a little more numerous with temperatures that will be in the low to mid 80s, so it's a little bit cooler because of the cloud cover. Saturday's when the front comes through. Spot storm could linger into Sunday as well, but once that front goes through, it puts us in a pretty nice air mass next week. Temperatures really don't cool off all that much, going back down into the mid 80s, but we're sunny, and the big difference, the humidity, that comes way down. But again, umbrellas will be needed at times here later on this afternoon.
All right, Todd, are you a fast walker or do you prefer more of a stroll?
Stroll.
Okay, well, it turns out that if you're a speed walker, you may be onto something. I'm a speed walker, Raphael. And researchers found people like me who walk fast, about 3 miles an hour, live longer no matter their weight. Now, the slow walkers in this study hit speeds of 1 or 2 miles an hour. Researchers say it suggests that physical activity could impact life expectancy more than weight. People who are underweight and who walk slow had the lowest life expectancy of any group in this study. So step on it.
Like the sloths at the Indianapolis Zoo, that new exhibit. I don't mind going slow. Don't forget, ABC's Shark Tank is coming to Indianapolis. You can pitch your idea, your great idea, to the producers at an open casting call this upcoming Tuesday, July the 16th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Lauren and Meredith will be there to usher you in to say good morning. Doors open at 6 a.m. You could be a fast walker if you want, or you can go slow. We have more information on the RTV6 app as well as the IndyChannel.com. Still to come on Good Morning Indiana, the red, white, and blue on full display Thursday in Hamilton County. We'll show you the sights and sounds from the big Carmel Fest Parade. The time now is 5:21. Good morning on this Friday.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Sounding really good. Red, white, and blue on display throughout Indiana on the 4th of July. In Hamilton County, here are some of the sights and sounds of Carmel Fest 4th of July parade. Hundreds, as you can see, lined up to see the bands, the color guards, floats, Kevin Gregory, Mark, and Amanda. And people of all ages say the annual event, of course, is always a great tradition.
One of the interesting things were how they designed their floats and stuff and how they made it interesting.
Living close here in Carmel, we come here every year, so it is one of the things we look forward to every year on 4th of July.
Yeah, and keep coming back. As you can see, the RTV6 News team took part in the parade. Hey, Mark Mullins, how you doing? It's a great day out there. They're waving their flags. But, of course, every year, this is one of the best parades in Indiana.
Oh, I hope those flags weren't too heavy for him with those muscles there.
No comment. What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say about that?
Those little flags just look so little with his big muscles. All right. Well, there is nothing more American than baseball, right? Few things more American than baseball. And yesterday, Major League Baseball went patriotic.
The Chicago White Sox mascot Southpaw, who probably had muscles as well, was ready for the occasion with a very patriotic outfit. As you will see, Southpaw and the White Sox players were in a great mood for some fun, so please join us and take a look. See a little Zumba in there, a little
all right,
hip shaky, little Shakira there, okay?
Yeah, that happened.
It's your birthday. You got it. Okay.
Wow.
Get down. Okay, homeboy.
How low can you go? All right, that was before the White Sox game against the Tigers yesterday. Unfortunately, that was the biggest highlight as the Sox lost 11-5. And guess what? You can always go to Chicago Cubs game, and they're always dressed in red, white, and blue.
I want to see you guys do that performance for Lauren when she comes back on Monday. I think you should guys have a Southpaw mascot. Good morning, Indiana. Hey, Lauren, welcome back. No?
Okay. Well, he obviously doesn't watch Good Morning Indiana, because if you knew that, I am afraid of mascots.
Yeah.
So I would not be inviting a mascot to come join us.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the weather.
All right. It's hot and humid here this afternoon. Some isolated storms building in up near 90 degrees. The storms this afternoon. Some heavy downpours, maybe a little bit of lightning, but they all should be on a pretty spotty basis. But you may want to have the umbrella handy. Time now is 5:28. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
RTV6 is working for you.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is Friday, July the 5th, TGIF. Thanks for watching Good Morning Indiana. I'm Rafael Sanchez in this morning for Lauren Casey, who comes back on Monday, hopefully with the baby. Bring the baby with you.
Oh, I'll see about that. And I'm Meredith Barrick. We can't have him crying into our microphones, Rafael.
Sure, babies are always cute.
He'll probably sleep through the show anyways. But anyways, we want to take a look at the weather. This is a live look over the Circle City. You can see the lights above Victory Field still on. I don't know if they're supposed to be on at this hour, Rafael.
Well, listen. I don't know that I'll have to investigate that.
Yes.
But what a beautiful city to wake up to every morning.
Yes. And it was just hours ago that it was lit up with fireworks. Everything went off without a hitch. No rain impacting that. Todd, a lot of people worried about that. Yeah. We are going to see some rain, though, today, however.
I told you yesterday, I was like, do not cancel any plans because of the rain threat. It was just very, very spotty yesterday. A few storms flared up. Thankfully, none in downtown Indianapolis this morning. We have one heavy downpour and a little bit of lightning here that's just slowly drifting now to the east of Terre Haute. Still some pretty good rain there in Vigo County, but it's pushing towards Brazil here, and it's really moving right along I-70. So if your travel plans this morning do take you on I-70 here within the next 30 minutes or so on this portion of the state, just give yourself a little bit of extra time and slow down when you hit that downpour. But that's the only game in town here right now as far as the rain goes. But as we work our way throughout the day, just like the past few days, once we get into the heat and humidity, we'll build up some isolated storms. You don't need to cancel any plans, but just know that there will be some downpours in and around the area throughout the day today. Temperatures right now are in the 70s, 70 degrees on the nose in Greenwood, 73 in Castleton, Fishers at 72. So it's another great pool day for you. Get out there and enjoy the water. Make sure you have the sunscreen on as temperatures will be climbing close to 90 degrees later on this afternoon. But of course, if you are at the pool or outdoors anywhere, if you have a little bit of lightning with some of these storms, make sure you take those plans inside. The time now is 5:32. Let's get another look at traffic.
All right, Todd, thank you. We are taking a live look right now at I-70 east of State Road 267. Just a few cars out there to kick off your Friday morning. Let's take a turn now to I-65 at Fletcher Avenue on the southeast side of downtown. Only a couple cars out in that area as well. We'll keep you updated should there be any traffic issues. A neighborhood is rattled after 2 houses are set on fire on the same night earlier this week.
Indianapolis Fire responded to flames coming off 2 porches just blocks away from each other on Tuesday. Our Aaron Lish is live with the latest in these investigations. And Aaron, what are you finding out this morning?
Well, things are very concerning because no one has been arrested for either of these cases after IFD has told us that both of these cases are intentional. So fire crews first started over on Pennsylvania Street where they had a fire on a porch, and then just a few blocks down they had the same problem over on Talbot. And what you are seeing left is from these fires is estimated more than $100,000 in damages. And something really scary to think about you're inside your home and that you're notified that someone's on your front step in the middle of the night. That is what happened for the people living inside the home on Pennsylvania. They were warned about someone on their porch by their Ring doorbell. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but we did ask one neighbor if he feels safe where he lives.
Not really. I don't know. Like, there's not really much I can do, so it's kind of like just do whatever I can to keep the house and everyone safe and hope for the best.
So he's planning to leave porch lights on and even install one of those Ring doorbells to warn him if anyone is coming up to his house. So if you know who did this or have any information about either of these arson cases, you are asked to call police, and that is 317-262-TIPS. We're going to have a little bit more from neighbors in the next half hour, but for now, back to you in the studio.
Aaron, thank you. A public memorial will be held for a woman who survived the Holocaust, then dedicated her life to spreading the message to forgive but never forget. Eva Moses Kor died in Poland while on a trip that included the concentration camp where she was held as a child. She was 85 years old. Kor lived in Terre Haute and is well known across Indiana and across the world. She was taken to Auschwitz when she was just 10 years old. Her parents and 2 sisters were killed there. Kor's son says his mother continued to touch people until her last day.
We were at Auschwitz, and she told a very, very moving speech at the selection platform, and somebody in the front was crying. And she said, "Why are you crying?" You should be asked. I survived.
Thanks to Kor's efforts, a law requires history about the Holocaust to be taught in Indiana high schools. She's also known for opening the Candles Holocaust Museum in Terre Haute. Governor Eric Holcomb named Eva Kor the recipient of the state's highest honor, the Sachem Award, in 2017.
Her legacy will live on. New overnight, an Evansville child is alive and safe after becoming stuck in a storm drain. The 5-year-old became stuck in that storm drain at the One Life Church on Lloyd Expressway around 9:15 Indianapolis time last night. It took crews about an hour to pull the boy out. We're told the boy fell in the drain while watching fireworks with his family. Authorities say the boy remained alert and talked to them throughout the rescue. He was taken to the hospital to be checked out.
A man is fighting for his life this morning following a water rescue in Cass County. The incident happened around 5 last night at France Park in Logansport. Witnesses told officers the man ran into the water from the beach, swam a short distance, then disappeared under the water. Good Samaritans pulled the man from the water and performed CPR until first responders arrived. The victim was airlifted to a Fort Wayne hospital. This morning, he is listed in critical condition.
The time now is 5:37. A memorial will be held this afternoon honoring IMPD officer Perry Wren, killed in the line of duty. A suspect shot and killed Officer Wren on July the 5th, 2014. That ceremony in the officer's honor, it starts at 1:30 at Crown Hill Cemetery, where Wren is buried. Mayor Joe Hogsett and Police Chief Brian Roach are scheduled to speak at that event.
We're learning more about a man shot by Salem police while wielding a hammer. The shooting happened Wednesday at the Washington County Fairgrounds. Police say someone called to report 53-year-old Mark Noggle was messing with property. They arrived to find him with a hammer, and he was shot by an officer. Jean Longworth has lived across the street from the Washington County Fairgrounds for 50 years. She recalls a time when she used to leave her doors unlocked and let her kids play outside until midnight, but now she's noticing more people and drugs passing through the city. Longworth says the shooting leaves her feeling uneasy. She wonders why police used deadly force when Noggle was only armed with a hammer.
I know the cops have got to take care of business, but the cops are practiced to shoot to kill. Unless there is a weapon that can kill you, there should be a better way of taking somebody down without taking their life.
Officers say they told Noggle to drop the hammer multiple times, but he did not and kept moving closer. The shooting is still being investigated. Neither of the officers have been identified by Indiana State Police, and both have been placed on administrative leave during the investigation.
This quite a tragedy. The sale of a video game console ended in the shooting death of a 16-year-old last month. Now authorities say they have 2 teenagers in custody for the death of Johnny Peluyera. Police say he met 2 people at abandoned homes around Gary when one of them pulled out a semi-automatic handgun from his waistband. The Lake County Sheriff's Office says a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old are now in custody for that crime. The arrests welcome news for the grieving family.
He lost his life over an Xbox that they didn't even get. He took away my world.
Charges are pending in this case. The Lake County Sheriff's Office says the 17-year-old suspect may be charged as an adult. The time now is 5:39. Let's check in with your forecast. We're expecting another hot and humid summer day in Indiana. Here we go.
Yeah, everybody deals with the heat and humidity, Raphael, no matter where you are today across central Indiana. And some of you will be dealing with some storms. We already have one this morning. This is some heavy rain. You notice the lightning strikes as well, as it's just now getting close to Brazil, but some heavy rainfall just went through Terre Haute. So this is kind of making its way eastward right along I-70 and then points to the south. Some real heavy rain there as well as you work your way down into portions there of Owen Clay County. Some heavy rain is in your area over the next half hour or so, but that's the only storm we have all across central Indiana. And as we go throughout the day today, we'll build in some isolated storms that'll flare up with the peak heating of the day. There won't be any really rhyme or reason to where they flare up, so everybody has the threat of that today. And it's going to be very muggy on our stickiness scale here throughout the day today, as well as the humidity remains elevated, so the pool will be a great place to be as long as there's no lightning around. 85 degrees by the noon hour, 89 degrees by the time we get 4 p.m. UV index is about a 9 today. That means burn time is anywhere from about 10 to 20 minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. It's being called the strongest earthquake to hit California in 20 years. Straight ahead, we're looking at the damage left behind from all of that shaking.
Plus, there are new concerns this morning over some dog treats after the break. Which treats are making some humans sick?
The time now is 5:40 as we take a look at your morning commute. This is I-65 at State Road 334. As you can see, traffic is moving very well. In fact, throughout the entire central Indiana interstate system, it is a good Friday. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Friday, July the 5th.
FDA approved for over 16 years.
Here's a look at some news expected to make headlines today. Amazon is celebrating 25 years since its founding. Happy birthday, Amazon. You don't look a day over 10. What started out as an online book retailer in Jeff Bezos' Washington State garage has grown into one of the largest companies in the world. It also turned Bezos into the world's richest man with a net worth of about $137 billion. I think he needs to buy all of us birthday presents.
We'll see what happens. Teen phenom Coco Gauff is such a big draw at Wimbledon that this year that she's taking center court this morning to face Polona Herkov of Slovenia in the 3rd round. The 15-year-old beat, as you may recall, Venus Williams and Magdalena Rubikov in the first 2 rounds there at Wimbledon. She's doing really well. People in California will feel more aftershocks today after yesterday's 6.4 earthquake hit that part of the country. People have already reported more than 100 aftershocks. Seismologists say they'll keep happening for weeks, and that could be some of them could be strong. The earthquake's epicenter was about 150 miles northeast of Los Angeles. The city of Ridgecrest declared a state of emergency. The quake caused fires near Bakersfield. Disneyland temporarily shut things down, and so far no reports of any major damage or injuries outside of that epicenter. A scary moment there on the west coast of the country.
And it has been a devastatingly expensive year of natural disasters so far. The Wall Street Journal reports all of the flooding in the Midwest this spring will cost $12.5 billion. It says that number could be much higher since many communities say they're still realizing the full extent of the damage. This will likely be one of the more expensive flooding events in recent history. Here at home, we are expecting some thunderstorms later today, Todd, but nothing that will do any damage or flooding like that.
You know, the biggest impact would be some localized flooding in your neighborhood. That would be just about it. Otherwise, we are not expecting anything widespread across central Indiana. That is the good news. Here's a live look outside, and it's a nice morning. Many of you probably sleeping in up a little late with the fireworks last night. Lights at Victory Field still on. They have another game later on this evening with additional fireworks on this Friday night, if that is in your plans tonight. 73 degrees, that's the current temperature right now. The dew point's at 70 degrees. That dew point is basically going to stay in the low 70s from start to finish throughout the day today. And all you really need to know is when the dew points are in the 70s, that's when it's uncomfortable across the area. Those dew points are a little on the high side for central Indiana, so it's going to make our temperatures feel a little bit warmer this afternoon. Right now, we're currently sitting in the 60s and 70s, but as soon as the sun comes up, we will see these temperatures warm very, very quickly across central Indiana. So Storm Team 6 radar is pretty quiet for most of central Indiana. The one exception I have to get out of the way for you is here in Terre Haute. The heavy rain just went through your area, but this heavy rain now along Indiana 159 and Indiana 46 there as you make your way just north of Clay City there into the west of Center Point. Notice the lightning strikes as well. Then we slide just north of the Terre Haute Airport there, and then over into the Brazil area, some heavy downpours as well. And this is basically sliding off towards the east pretty slowly here this morning. By 6:02, it's going to be near Poland, and by 6:16 near the Cataract Falls. That's in your plans this morning. You're going to want to wait for that downpour to go through. Nothing severe there. Heavy rain is going to be the main impact, and that's generally going to be the case throughout the entire day. So there could be an isolated storm like the one I just showed you here this morning, but most of us remain completely dry. It's this afternoon that we watch these storms start to blossom and flare up again across the area. Heavy rainfall would be the main impact. Could be some lightning as well. So if you're at a lake, you're at a pool, and you see that lightning or you see the thunderstorm approaching, you want to make sure you get off the water or inside with those lightning strikes around. But to be honest with you, some of these storms could flare up pretty quickly. So you need to be weather aware, especially if you're out on a boat. And then this evening, once the sun starts to set, a lot of these showers and storms will fade away. So overall today, it's another good summer day for you with plenty of dry hours, plenty of sunshine. You just got to watch out for those storms that flare up in the afternoon hours with high temperatures that'll approach 90 degrees. Now, unfortunately, as we look at our evening planner, I had to do something that I'm not too happy about, and I had to make the sunset 1 minute earlier. That is the first time I had to drop it from 9:17 back to 9:16 as these days start to get shorter. Skies will be partly cloudy here this evening. As far as the weekend planner, Saturday 88, thunderstorms likely. Sunday's probably the better day of the weekend because we only have about 20% chance of an isolated thunderstorm in this forecast. So it's warm and muggy at least through tomorrow, and then once we get to Sunday, the front goes through. Could be a stray storm, but the biggest difference as we get into next week, we are going to be talking about lower humidity. That's the big change with temperatures in the 80s, Meredith, and lots of sunshine.
All right. Todd, thank you. We have a warning for pet owners this morning. The CDC and FDA are investigating an outbreak of salmonella infections linked to contact with pig ear dog treats. The FDA says salmonella discovered in pig ear treats can infect people either from handling the treats or directly from your dog once it's become ill. Retailer Pet Supplies Plus has recalled bulk pig ear treats sold in its stores. Those are the kind it puts in open bins and sells individually. Prepackaged branded pig ears have not been recalled. So far, 45 people in 13 states have been diagnosed with salmonella-related illness.
No reason to complain after you hear about this. A Colorado family wakes up to a bear in their car.
What? Well, ahead in our trending 6, how long wildlife officials say it took to get that bear out. We'll be right back.
What?
Before you head out the door, it is time for the trending 6.
These are the stories that everyone, everyone, even our parents are, because my mom is not even on Facebook, is talking about right now.
Well, you might want to turn away if you can't stomach someone stuffing their face with dozens of hot dogs. Joey Chestnut claiming his 12th win at this year's Nathan's Famous International Hot Dog Eating Contest at Coney Island in Brooklyn. He ate 71 whole hot dogs in just 10 minutes, taking home the coveted mustard belt. The 35-year-old's nickname is Jaws, fittingly. Last year, he consumed 74 hot dogs and buns. Oof.
Call Pepto-Bismol.
No kidding.
Netflix says it will cut back on the depictions of smoking in its productions. Now, this announcement comes after a report from the anti-smoking group Truth Initiative. It said there was a 44% increase in smoking depictions in the second season of Stranger Things. The report also found other Netflix shows that were popular among young people showed more smoking and use of tobacco products in recent seasons, and so there will be now a cutback of tobacco products on those Netflix programs.
Ford will soon sell a supercar that won't be street legal. The company is only selling 45 of the new Ford GT MK2 with a $1.2 million price tag. Pocket change. The GT MK2 features 700 horsepower and is equipped with 2 racing seats, a roll cage, and a performance computer. Since weight savings were a priority, the passenger seat is optional. Sorry, Raph.
But it is payday, so you could get me that one car.
I will not be surprised if we see one of those racing around the track at IMS.
It could happen. You wouldn't want to wake up this morning to find this in your vehicle. A noise coming from one of their cars caught the attention of the Matakowski family. Inside their little red car was a big bear. The bear was able to pull apart panels in the car, destroying the inside. Wildlife officials say they don't know how that bear got in the car, but it took them about an hour to get him out. Wow. That's all I'm going to say is wow.
The art of sand sculpting was just kicked up a notch. The Sand Museum in Turkey, fittingly called Sandland, is showcasing the latest exhibition called Legends. These incredible sculptures were created by 20 artists from around the world. It reportedly took more than 10 tons of sand to make them. Each sculpture took about 3 weeks to complete. Oh, that would take me 3 years. The exhibit showcases sandy yet amazing versions of the 7 wonders of the world.
Do you know how difficult it is for a dad to be on a beach these days just to make those little sand castles, and now they make this? Come on now, folks. It's tough out there. Yellowstone National Park's Steamboat Geyser, always a sight, is on track to hit a number of eruptions for the 2nd year in a row. The U.S. Geological Survey says that Steamboat has already erupted 25 times this year alone, and the year is only halfway over. At this rate, it will surpass the last year's record of 32 eruptions. The reason for the increased activity is not clear. Steamboat is the tallest active geyser in the world, blasting water more than 300 feet into the air. And on a day like today, where it's so hot and humid, it would be kind of nice to be under a nice sprinkler of that.
I wouldn't want to be standing right above that necessarily, but maybe in its path, just to get a mist or so.
A mist.
Yeah.
You can go to one of those splash parks where the water shoots out of the ground.
Oh, there you go.
Kind of like this
a mini geyser.
Exactly. Mini geyser. Yeah, and your guys are right. Stay cool anywhere you can here throughout the day today. It's another hot and humid one. We have temperatures in the 70s here this morning. One lone downpour out there right now. Just went through Terre Haute, pushing into Brazil. The rest of central Indiana is completely dry, and there are a lot of dry hours mixed in here throughout the day today. With the heat and humidity, though, it is going to be very easy to flare up some downpours later on this afternoon. I think that's exactly what we'll do, with some heavy rainfall and a little bit of lightning as well. Your high temperature, that gets up to 90 degrees. The time now is 5:57. Stay with Good Morning Indiana. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.